We're live, but let me check on these internets and see. Who jamming? Who that
That's
is?
me. I was trying to see if we was live. Then Carlisa Cupcake started popping off the page.
Okay, let me see. Are we live? Are we live? It says we're live.
Yep,
I think
we're live. I see it on the
Okay.
page.
Well, I can't see it.
I'm
Oh,
live.
there we go.
We live, baby. Hey, y'all out there
We
in
live.
the
We
ethos.
live. Hey, everybody. So we gonna give folks a second to jump on here. I hope ain't nobody nervous. Ain't nobody nervous, is they? Naya, you
How you gonna
nervous?
put them out there? Ask that question right up front.
Uh-uh.
Y'all ain't nervous. Ain't nobody nervous. Right?
Naya,
Everybody nervous.
wait a minute. Naya, you nervous?
I'm not nervous.
I hope
What you say?
not.
She nervous. She just don't want to say it now because you done put it all on Jump Street like that.
Cause my baby got this. Okay, y'all
I'm
don't
okay.
even know. What you say, baby? Go ahead.
I said I'm okay.
You okay? Oh, y'all don't know. This a cheerleader over here. This is a academic scholar over here. Okay,
That don't
my
mean
baby
she
be
can't
doing
be nervous.
stuff.
You could be nervous if you want to.
Your
You ain't gonna be
mom
nervous
is
by the end of it, girl. You're
watching.
gonna be talking, but right now you can be nervous.
Hey, Anika, welcome. We got
Hey,
your mom.
hey.
She just hopped in the room. Shout out to Marquita Haley for giving me this lovely lady. That is Janaya. That's the incubator I was talking about. She just literally just grew her for me. This is mine. And I was so proud. Her mom told me what she going to major in. I started crying. I was like,
Oh, not the tears. What you majoring in?
I want to say it so I can.
Psychology.
What you say?
Psychology.
Okay. All right. Okay. Congrats.
Thank
Congrats.
you.
And then we got our third host back because last week she killed it. Well, the last week we were on,
Yes.
she killed
Welcome
it.
back,
If y'all didn't see the last show, y'all need to go head over to the YouTubes and the Facebook page because our third host, she said she claiming her mic.
She's a host now.
She shut it down. She claimed the mic. She took the mic. Then she dropped the mic. And we was just like, well.
And they about to do the same thing. They only going to expound on it. So I'm excited to hear from y'all. For those of y'all that are in the chat with us, just wanting to introduce who we have with us today. I think y'all missed all of that. So we got the amazing, the wonderful, and talented young ladies here on this call today. We got Journey Thomas. Shout out to Carlisa Thomas, who has also been on our show plenty of times. We love us some Carlisa when she be on here. Carlisa be cutting up.
She keep it real. She keep it real.
She don't hold nothing back. So this we can only expect that from you today. I'm sure. Journey, don't hold back on us, okay? Don't hold back on
Journey,
us.
speak your truth and your whole truth and nothing but the truth. That's what we here for.
This is a safe zone. That's
Safe
for
zone.
everybody here. So speak your mind. And then we have Janaya, Haley, Haley Gray. Let me make sure. I don't want your dad being like, hold on a minute now. Haley Gray. Okay. This is my baby. She knows she's my baby. I'm gonna stop saying that so I embarrass her, but that's my baby. She's headed off to college, so she is going to give us a lot to talk about. And we got somebody else joining us, Vontae. Let's see who Vontae is. Hello.
You in the dark? You want to turn on the light?
And who do we have joining us now?
My name is Vontae.
Hello, Vontae. Welcome.
Hey, Vontae.
What's up, Miss Natalie?
We was just introducing folks. So tell us who you are, Vontae. We want to hear from you.
Like what I do?
Yeah.
Like, who are you?
All of that.
Right. Look, yeah. My actual name is Javion. I like to play basketball. I do music. I make music. Yeah. That's what I do and sleep. That's all I really do.
Music is his box, and he likes his box.
Okay. Well, we gonna have to have a show on that alone. But are you able to give us a little light because we can't see you? Don't hide.
And are we reintroducing our third host?
Yes, we are. You know what? Since you done already gave her the title as a host, why don't she introduce herself?
Okay.
Go ahead, Mariah. Tell them who you is. You're Mariah Tate.
Okay, I'll just say this. Hello everyone, I am Mariah Tate. I have been on here last week, and I am going to just talk about a lot of things that teenagers my age and younger than me and my ages above me go through. And what I like to do is that I take up a lot of different types of art.
Nice.
All right now, so let's get into it.
Excited. Thank y'all for being on with us today.
Yes, thank you for giving us light, Monte. Monte gave us light. Now let there be light.
Let us see you, son. Let us see you.
So,
and you holding it down for the men folk today, so we definitely don't need your word.
Indeed. So let's go ahead and jump into the conversation because we only try to be on here for an hour. We know folks got stuff to do. It's summer. If y'all like me, I was tired and I was ready to go to bed. My baby like, yeah, I'm tired.
I went to work today. I'm tired.
You went to work?
You see my work clothes? Hold on. Let me show you my work clothes.
Okay, you better get up. Give it to him. Serve the worksheet. Okay.
I see your scrubs, honey. Yes.
You say she official. Scrubs and all.
Look, officially official. She's going to school for psychology. I'm gonna stop. I'm sorry, baby. I quit. I know she gonna get off and call her mom like she just cut up all day. I'm better now. Anyhow, we are here because we want to hear from teens at different ages, different levels, although Journey and Naraya are kind of the same age. Vontae, how old are you?
I'm 14, turning 15.
14, turning 15. All right. And Naya is 18.
Hold it together.
College. I'm sorry. I'm all right. And we just wanted to really have a conversation about how we as adults, as parents, can do better to support our youth because they going through a lot out here. So we had Naraya on here last week where she dropped a lot of stuff that we wanted to revisit and get extra perspectives about because I'm like, how many other kids are going through the same stuff? How many other youths are going through the same stuff? So we are here to talk about teens and how they're going through a lot. So we want y'all to be no holds bars here. This is a safe place. Speak your mind. This is all about how we as an adult can do better to help y'all. And we need to hear it because the teacher needs to be taught sometimes. So let us have it, okay? We could take it. I might cry, but I could take it. Okay. So let's start with some of our newcomers. Vontae, since you was last here, we gonna let you jump in first. We gonna warm you up because everybody else got to get warm. So we throwing you into the gravel pit first. Tell us about what it's like to be a teen for you from your perspective as a young Black male. What is it like for you being a teen?
I mean, I don't really be, well, for me as a person, I just be to myself. I don't like messing with a lot of people because people be like weird and they like to mess around. You know, people be messy and I like to stay away from all that. So, like, if some stuff around and like irritates me or whatever, I like somewhere I can go or like something to do, and that's what I do. So I get my mind off of whatever I'm going through or whatever's going on in my life. So yeah, pretty much.
Do you find that it's stressful sometimes, even when you're trying to avoid the messiness? Because I agree with you 100%. Like, people was messy. I wish I could say as they get older, they grow out of it, but they do not. So trust me, as a grown-up, I absolutely validate that folks can be extra messy. What other stressors do you find yourself going through, even when trying to avoid the mess? What mess do you still find like stresses you out?
It's just the whole avoiding part. It's like people try their hardest to try to mess with you as much as they can until you like snap to that certain point. I'll snap to that certain point before. I hope I don't never do that again. But yeah, I've snapped to that certain point before, and it ain't really in. But I bounced back. I'm good now. But it's not a good thing yet. Like you gotta tell somebody something. Like you gotta talk to people about things.
I agree
Yeah.
with that. That actually is exactly what we trying to do because, like you said, you fool most of the time, right? And then folks push you to the edge and you snap because you have so much going on. And I like what you said about making sure that you're talking to somebody. How important is that for you?
Uh, it depends on who. I don't tell everybody everything.
Do you
Like
have a person in
some
your life you feel like you can talk to?
a couple of them. I got like at least three or four. But yeah, I know if I tell them that it ain't really going, it's not going nowhere. They gonna know what it is.
All right. I'm glad that you got those folks. Let's head over to Journey. Hi, Journey. You ready, honey?
Hi.
And one thing, can I speak on
Yeah.
that real quick? I think one thing that last point that Vontae made was really important. I didn't want to skip past it because I was thinking about it. That's why it took so long for me to say something. I think it's really important, especially when you're young, in your teen years, to know the difference between a real friend and then associates. I think a lot of the times when you're young, you're willing and open to let everybody be your friend, but everybody doesn't deserve to be your friend or earn that title. So you can't tell everybody everything. So to have people that you know you can trust, that's a vault for you when you share and you know it ain't gonna get messy and your information gonna be out in the street. I think that's very, very important. So I didn't want to skip past that because even adults have that same issue. So y'all are not alone in y'all teen years trying to decipher who to trust and who not to trust. Adults have that same issue, but we have to decipher who's really for us and who's not. So
I
thank you.
agree 100%. Thanks for that point because we don't want to skip over that. Honestly, even as an adult, you still mastering that. You know, some people lead with the heart in friendships and you don't always get that reciprocated. So it's an ongoing process to learn what true friendship looks like and to unlearn the ideas of what you thought it was before as you've gotten older and you've matured. So point well taken that.
And boundaries. I think boundaries and setting certain expectations for your friends is a good thing. Because if you know in your mind going into it what a real friend looks like, being there for you, respecting you, you know, all of those different things, then you won't accept less than that. And you can decipher ones who are and who are your friends.
Correct. So, Journey, tell us about what the experience of being a teen is like for you. How hard is it sometimes being a teenager?
For me, I say like dealing with like people. I'm a really like forgiving person. Like I give people like I give people second chances. Like I forgive people. So like with that, it comes with like people that feel like they can run over you and push over you, and then at your time of need, they don't feel like they don't need to be there for you. Like I had a friend that I thought she was my friend for real, but she showed me like when I was at dark times that she couldn't be there for me, but when she was in her dark times, I could be there for her. So it's just like with friends, and then my school. My school is like the most hardest thing. School's the most hardest thing for me being a teen because it's hard to go to school and then still be like, oh, I could do this, be like this, and you go to school and then people teach you a certain thing. You have to like change to go to school and be how you is at school. And then parents, like I bump head with my mom a lot about certain things because she just don't understand like what I be going through at school with my friends, with other people. So it's just like with them type of things.
So, can I touch on the point of feeling like sometimes your mom doesn't understand what you're going through at school? And Carlisa, you better leave this baby alone, okay? Because we trying to get to the bottom of it. If you watching, don't you go bothering Journey. because she only answered because I asked her to. Okay, and she's
Speak
respecting
your
her.
truth, Jay.
Your truth. All right, Carlisa, we gonna behave. What are some of the things that you feel like you wish your mom would understand about those times when you are going through stuff with your friends at school or just period?
Like sometimes, like most of the time, like I really don't want to talk about it with her because stuff through to my mama. Because like she'll take it and be like, "Oh, like you shouldn't be doing that in the first place," type stuff. It's like I'm not trying to do. Like, what else do you want me to do when it happens? So, like, say like I get into arguing with my friends and then I be upset about that. It's like she'll keep pushing me, like, "Oh, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?" And then I get upset with her because it's like you keep pushing me, asking what's wrong, and because I just don't want to like talk about like the stuff because like it's a lot of stuff that happens and like she just pushed me like to tell her and it's hard for me to tell her because I don't know how she'll react to it. Like she'll get like really mad with the stuff we're safe.
Oh, Journey, because I literally can
Thank you for
feel the
sharing.
emotion. Yeah, and thank you for feeling safe to say that here because I literally feel your emotion in that, and I think as a mom, we all need to learn how to give our kids space. That's a real thing to do, especially when you can sense something's wrong, and we don't want our babies, especially our girls, kind of going through the same things that we went through. So sometimes, we don't know how to back up a little bit, and we don't know how to just give space and allow you to be in your own time to come and talk and confide in whatever's going on. And I can just sense that hurt from you because you're just like, I'm already trying to figure this out. I don't know if I could talk to you. I don't want to talk to you right now. I'm trying to, even process what's going on. And that's a lot. That's a lot to digest. And you don't want to get anybody in trouble. Sometimes mamas can make things worse, and trying to help. And so I just really appreciate you opening up and
Absolutely.
sharing that because that is real vulnerability. And I know you probably like, I know my mama gonna be watching this, but I'm just going, Carlisa, leave this baby alone because she answered because we asked.
And can I pose a question to all of the youth? Just put your church finger up if you agree with that. Do you feel like you can honestly, openly just talk to your parents, or are you afraid of their reaction a lot of the time? If you agree with that, just go ahead and put that church finger up. But if you feel like you can openly, honestly, all the time talk to your parents, then leave your fingers down.
Naya, do you feel like you can honestly open up to your parents all the time?
With my mom, more so yes, because my mom understands me a little bit more. But my dad, I don't really open up as much because he just don't get me how my mom gets me. It's like two different relationships going on. Like my mom, she knows what I'm going through because she dealt with it before. So it's easier to talk to somebody who's dealt with the same thing you dealt with and just to like explain it to them and them actually knowing how to react to it versus somebody that's just like kind of just blindsided to it because they never really dealt with what you're going through. So, me personally, yeah, I can really tell my mom any and everything because I just know there's no like judgment there. So I don't like feel the need to lie or just like not tell her. And I think it's also an age thing too. I feel like I'm getting too old to be lying to my parents about what I'm doing or where I'm at or like it's just played out.
Did you have that fear when you were younger, though?
Oh yeah, I feel like. Well, I don't know. I feel like most teenagers, like they have that fear of telling their parents what they're gonna do or where they're gonna go because of how their parents like may react to certain things. Because I was definitely at that point in my life for a minute, but again, I feel like once you have certain conversations with your parents, it's gonna get easier to just tell them a little bit more because if you break it down, like me and my mom, we've had conversations until like 1 o'clock in the morning just talking just about like our lives and it was some stuff I never knew about her and it was some stuff she never knew about me and it kind of like created this stronger bond between us because we know a little bit more about each other than what we did before. So I definitely think it's good, or like a suggestion, to just be a little bit more open with your parents. And if you feel some type of way, like, you have a voice, like everybody has a voice. I feel like you should use your voice and just express how you feel in the moment instead of letting that build up. Because if you let it build up too much, then you're going to crack and you're going to react and you're going to do something that you didn't really mean to do, but you just did it out of emotion. So, yeah, that's my thought.
Thank you for sharing.
Very well
I
said.
agree with that. I think one of the things that, in my opinion, creates that conflict is because y'all, let's be honest, I'm not too far off from a teen. I was a teen once, wasn't that long ago. I recall.
I'm only 25, so I said I'm only 25.
You 25, so you stick with that. You stick with that. But I think I remember being a teen and having conflicts with my mother, and it was mostly because in your teen years, you kind of asserting your dominance, you kind of figuring out who you are and going through all the things that teens go through, all the struggles, friends, issues, schools, grades, all the different things, on top of trying to figure out who you are and how you feel and what you want to do and who you want to be. And a lot of times, at least in my opinion, my mother was used to me being so open with her and chilling with her and all that stuff. So in my teen years, I kind of went in and out somewhere else, and she was like, "Oh, you don't love me no more." And that was like her whole, she tell that story to this day. That was her whole big thing. She was like, "Oh, she just didn't love me when she was a teenager." And it's like, as parents, I think, and adults in general, even being a teacher, working with the youth, I try to get to know them. And I think that can get rid of a lot of conflict if you truly understand the person that you're trying to raise or guide or mentor or talk to. If you truly get to know who they are, what they like, understand how their mind works, instead of just throwing our ideologies and ideas or whatever it is in our mind that we're trying to give to them onto them. Get to know and understand them first. So that's the word for the parents and teachers and aunties and uncles out there.
And additionally to that, I think it's really important, to Jania's point, to have a non-judgmental space. I think a lot of teens don't open up because they feel that their parents are going to be very critical of them and whatever it is that they're going through. And that is a big enough reason for anybody to not open up. Even adults wouldn't feel comfortable open up to someone that they feel like is going to be hypercritical of them. So I think parents making sure that they're able to provide a non-judgmental space for their kids to express things goes a long way. Jania brought up a really good point, saying like, I was things I didn't know about my mom. Now, I've known your mom for a long time, so I probably know some of them things that you just found out. But, I understand the magnitude in that, because I also try to do that with Naraya as much as possible, to say, you know what? But also do that in a way where I'm not saying too, well, if I went through this and I'm fine, then you should be fine. Because I think that sometimes parents can do that too. I don't want to skip over Miss Tate here, because I know she was here last week, and I don't want to just assume that I know what her answer to your question is going to be, because I think I'm doing a good job, but I just want to make sure.
All right, well, you gonna slide out frame. You go ahead and slide in there and say your piece.
So do you feel that you could talk to your parents, both parents, about anything?
I wouldn't say anything, but a lot of things, yes.
Okay. And what are the things that you feel a little less comfortable talking to us about? And this is Bubble, so I ain't gonna judge you. We're not gonna fight.
I think it's mostly, I really feel weird about saying this. I don't know why, but I think it's what I'm attracted to. If I'm putting it in a not so blunt way, I'm trying to.
Attracted to as in like when you want to date?
Not really that. I think.
Okay, don't censor yourself.
Yeah, speak your.
Don't censor so that you can convey exactly what you're trying to say. Don't censor yourself.
Okay, I think I'm very nervous to talk about what turns me on. Apparently, there, I said it.
Okay, so sex.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not all sex things. There are a lot of things about sex that I am comfortable with talking about. There's some things that I feel like I'm going to get judged a lot because I'm so young.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and that's real. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I think I know where that's coming from, but I receive it. I receive it.
And sex
And
is awkward for
it's-
some people to talk about with their parents. So you're not alone in that either.
Look, it's hard for adults to talk about those things,
With their
especially for, kids or teenagers to talk about that, because parents, inherently just want to be like, don't be thinking about sex right now. You don't need to be worried about sex. Like, sex is bad. Everybody got cooties, and don't be touching nobody. Cooties.
But the reality of it is, y'all are thinking about that. This is literally the time of your life where hormones is going crazy and it's on your mind.
I agree with that. What else do you feel like, and I'm open this up to everybody, what other things do you feel that personally, like if you could pull up something specifically that you wish that you could talk to your parents about, what would it be?
Does anybody have something to say, or should I try to say something?
Let's let somebody have an opportunity. Monte, are you still with us?
Mom.
I'm hearing like a beeping too. I'm not sure where that's coming from.
Yeah.
Is it just me? All right, Monte. What do you feel that you could talk to your parents about anything?
Yeah.
Okay. There's nothing that you feel like you can't talk to your parents about?
Oh, I choose to not talk to my parents about.
Oh, he plead the fifth.
I plead the fifth. Understandable.
I understand. So without telling us what it is that you feel like you can't talk to them about it, would you share what feelings you have that influences or makes you feel that you can't talk to them? Why do you feel that you can't?
That I can or cannot.
Cannot. What things keep you from talking to them about those things?
Ooh, because I know how they are. Because I'm like them, so I already know how they're gonna be since I was born. Yeah, so I know how they're gonna be for those things.
So you know what their reaction is gonna be. So you I already know what they gonna say.
Overreact.
Yeah, that's why I just mostly.
Monte, look,
he like they will definitely overreact.
Look, I hear you, Monte. He look, y'all asking a lot of questions. I already told you I plead the fifth. I'm not fifth, fifth. I don't got nothing to say. I hear you though. We ain't gonna put you on the spot like that. No
I have a question actually, for all of you. Now, pretty much everybody raised their church finger and said that, there is something that they feel a little uncomfortable talking to their parents with. If you could tell your parents anything, not the things you worried about talking to them about, but if you could tell them something that will help them be more open to these conversations, what would it be? Like a few people said they're scared of the reactions of their parents. So if you could talk to your parent and say, wholeheartedly express to them why you feel like you can't talk to them and different things like that, what would you say?
Like how would you approach it?
Yeah.
I really feel like it just depends on how deep you want to get into it, because I don't even know how to explain this. When trying to talk to your parents, it's just you have to let them know that you're serious, just sit them down and be like, oh, it's time to talk. It's just a couple things I need to get off my chest, and I don't need you to say nothing but just listen. Just hear me out and listen. Because I feel like once you feel like you have that room to actually speak your voice, your piece, it's kind of it comes naturally and it just flows when you speak, and it's easier because they're hearing what you're saying, and now they're gonna react once you're finished or whatever. Well, that's how it's supposed to be, but that's a way that I think that, you know, people could approach their parents when trying to have a conversation like that. Just really sit them down and just let them listen for once. I know parents be like, "You're not gonna talk to me like that," but sometimes you just really need to have that conversation. Be like, "I'm getting older, you know. It's certain stuff that you probably don't know about me, or whatever the case may be," and just to listen. That's all.
I like that you said, um,
That's great.
just sit down and listen to me. And you brought up a really good point, which I feel like us as parents need to do better with, is that sometimes when you have a kid or a teenager talking and maybe their inflection is different or they don't roll, them octaves is going up. It's not always about trying to disrespect you. It's emotions, right? Because even as an adult, if I'm mad, before I know it, I'm yelling, and people be like, "Why you yelling?" Be like, "I'm not yelling." Okay, wait a minute, I'm yelling. You right.
But it's not at you. It's just a situation.
It's just a situation. And I think that we don't give our youth enough room, enough space to speak from emotion. Like emotion is gonna change the way you say something sometimes. Unless you like blatantly disrespecting me, you gotta be like calling me out my name or running up on me. I ain't gonna take it that way. I'm gonna be like, okay, what I do when she's getting that way, I be like, are you okay? Like, is everything okay? Excuse me, what's going on? Like, how are you feeling? Like, what can we walk it back? Right? I try to be like, walk it back. And then I love it that she'll be like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm upset. I just need a minute. And I really want parents to do that.
I think it comes from a place of empathy, like really understanding and remembering. Because like we've all been teenagers, we've all been all the stages that you all are in, and we'll get to. And so with that, how did we feel in those moments when we really wanted to talk to our parents about something, but we thought they would overreact or we feel like they wouldn't understand? And I know me as a parent, I want my son to be able to come to me and tell me anything. We had this he's 4, and we had this conversation earlier today, and I was like, don't lie to me. Even if you're scared, tell me and know that I'm gonna always be on your side. Now, you ain't gonna always have your way, some repercussions may come of it, but I will always be here to hear you out, because when things get real, I'm pretty sure your parents want to know what's going on, and whether you come to them than somebody out in the street that may steer you wrong or anything else in the situation can get worse. So though they may not be trying to hear you, because I mean, that's adults, right? You know what I'm saying? We got our own intentions, we got our own lives and other stuff going on. And as parents, that's heightened even more so, because we got expectations, we got guidelines, we got respect boundaries, and then our own lives and issues and traumas that's coming up too. But at the end of the day, I truly feel that most parents want to really know what's going on with their young people. So I love the idea or the concept of just saying, hey, please just sit down and listen. I just want to talk to you. And afterwards, you can have something to say. But right now, I just want to talk to you. I love that approach.
Let me ask a question. Okay. And y'all can say yes or no. If you don't feel comfortable, like going into detail, just yes or no. You are in serious need of help. Okay. We're not going to say like what that help is, but if you are ever in serious need of help, would your parents, whether either of them, would they be the first place you would go if you were in serious need of help?
And if no, who would that next person be? I'm curious on that part.
I want to say yes, but I think it will kind of depend on the situation, I think, about who's closest, maybe. I don't know.
Like who's available?
Yeah.
Isn't closest? Okay. Journey?
Yes, I feel like I go with my dad first, because he's easier to talk to about things. Like, he understands where I'm coming from. Like, he tells my mom sometimes, she's still a teenager. Like, you have to understand, like, we was teenagers and most of the stuff that she's doing, like, she's just trying to grow up, and, like, she got to understand that stuff. So I feel like if I, like, something was, like, really, really wrong, I can go to my dad, and that's what I'm supposed to do half the time. I go to him about stuff. he knows a lot of stuff that I go through, so I go to sleep about stuff. So yes.
Okay, I'm not sure what that. Am I the only person hearing that noise? Okay, I'm hearing a noise and I'm not sure
Also
what it
mute
is.
until we're
Okay,
ready to
until they
talk.
talk.
We all
So
do
let
that.
me put everybody on mute because I'm not sure where it's coming from. There we go. All right, Journey. I'm sorry. I'm going to unmute you. And you were saying that you talk to your dad first, right?
hmm I will go like talk to him first because he understand where I be coming from with stuff. Like he still like take a look like, oh, like she's a teenager, so you have to like she grow up and understand things. My dad would tell my mom like teenagers want like she's being a teenager and we teenagers want, so like she's just trying to understand it. So like if I was like something was really wrong with me, like I would go talk to my dad before I go talk to my mom about it.
But you would talk to one of your adults, one of your parents about it. You would feel comfortable going to a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Janaya, I think I know your answer because I think I heard you say it, but I'm going to come back around because I think everybody was answering at once. So, would you tell a parent?
Yes, I would.
Okay, both or just one?
I'll tell. Well, it really depends on the situation, but for the most part, I feel like I'll tell both.
Okay. Vontae, do you feel like if you were really in need of help, would you feel comfortable going to your parents? And let me unmute you. Or is that another plead the fifth question? I can't hear you. I don't know if he's talking.
Is he on mute still?
No.
You get me?
I just can't hear him.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Got you. There you go. All right.
Yeah. All right, it depends. It depends on what the situation.
Depends on what the
If it's something
situation
serious,
is.
like
What would you
I don't know.
Mhm.
It depends. Like you gotta be in like a
Well,
certain thing.
I'm
Like you have to
trying
give
to
me a list
steer
of
away
something,
from like
some thing.
a list. See, I'm trying not to do that. Nat, do you want to give an example? Okay, so if it was concerning sex, would you go and tell a parent?
My dad, no, I won't.
Okay, that sounds about right for boys.
Not that
If it was concerning trouble at school, oh, we
right.
lost Vontae.
I think it popped out.
If it was concerning something at school, would you ladies tell a parent?
Yes.
Yes. I think yes for you too, Naya. You pretty
Yeah.
much said I'm going to tell, and I love that.
Yeah.
For the things that you feel like you couldn't tell either parent, what would you need for them to do to make you feel more comfortable?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a comfort thing for me. I just think it's a boundary. It's just certain stuff I feel like that parents just don't need to be in my business for. Personally.
Understandable. Understandable.
Understandable. I understand that. Naya, why I have you here because I think that where you are in life is a really important thing, and I want to make sure that we talk about this a little bit. And then I'm
Hold
hoping
on,
that
real quick. Did everybody answer that question?
I think Journey said
Our
that.
third co-host didn't answer that question.
Oh, this is true. This is true. Ma'am,
Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm not. I'm just looking.
Speak
I
your
won't
truth. I
let.
got your back. I got.
So can you remind me of the question again?
If you're really in trouble, would you come to me or your dad?
Again, I think it depends on where I'm at in the situation. like everybody else said, and I can definitely agree because sometimes you guys aren't really available, or I need somebody to help me at like as soon as possible, but I won't be able to get to you guys as soon as possible, so I'll have to choose the next like plan B.
Okay, what if it's not about like, what if it's that you found yourself in a situation that you need support on or advice on? Would you come to one of us?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that makes me feel good. I'm doing something right.
And I want all y'all to know y'all can call TT Net. I don't judge, honey.
Now, Janaya, you're getting ready to go away to college. And I think where you are in life, especially because I've been there, you're at a unique point where you are really trying to prepare to go into adulthood. And you are trying to learn how to stand on your own 2 feet, how to, think for yourself, how to make decisions for yourself. Are there any things that you feel you wouldn't get from your parents or that you want to see from them while you're doing that, while you're on that journey? Because I think sometimes parents can still treat you like a little kid. It's like, well, you're not technically an adult, so you can't make decisions on your own. Do you have concerns about that?
Not really, because for the most part they treat me like my age. Like they pretty much let me grow into like myself, like as far as being independent. Because my first job was at 16. Like I wanted to make my own money whenever I could because that's just the independence in me. And mostly whatever I do, I really want to do it by myself. Like if I really, really need help, then I'll ask my parents. But other than that, no, I feel like I'm independent and they allow me to have that independence. So not really.
And she going far, y'all. She going all the way to New Orleans. She gonna catch me on that campus party in time or two. I'm gonna break out my youth again, my college days. But do you have any feelings about when you go? Because going to college is a very different experience. It's gonna be a lot of pressure. You're gonna have to really kind of balance and think about things on your own, even though you'll have your parents a phone call away. Like you not gonna be close.
Yeah.
What are you feeling about that? Are you nervous?
I'm ready to go. I got my boxes packed, ready to go.
You ready for the next level? That's it, huh?
I am. It's really just about being on my own for real for me. Like, and it's a new environment, and I really get just a chance to branch out and just really actually be on my own for real, because it's 14 hours away. Like, they can't just get in the car. I mean, they could, but that's a long drive, and they not gonna drive that far. So it's really just about me and how I'm gonna, you know, have that space to just, focus and just stay on top of my stuff and take accountability for whatever I'm about to do.
Now, I
Because
have a question.
yes, ma'am.
My question is, you seem like a great young lady, and I know your secondary mom, Sante, is partially to do with that, but I know your actual parents is a large part of that as well. What advice would you give to the younger people on the line that are working to get to the point you are now about that relationship with their parents and the things that their parents may be telling them that you took advantage of or had to work through to get to the point you are at now?
Um, really to just, you know, find that find that mixture of just not being afraid, but also just be willingly open to have that discussion with your parents on whatever it may like whatever the case may be. Because I feel like now, like I'm more open because I'm older and they really can't do much because I'm getting older. But as far as like the younger kids, like I definitely understand because I was definitely in that position. And I think one of the hardest things was really trying to find yourself, as far as growing up and just trying to see where you are, because then I feel like it creates kind of a gap for your parents because it's like they knew you as a child, but as you grow up, I feel like they don't really know you anymore because y'all are not having that same bond because you want to go out with your friends and they want to hang out with you, and it's just a whole bunch of really just growing up, and some parents really can't accept it. But I feel like once you sit down and have a conversation, be like, look, I'm getting older. You can't keep treating me like I'm a kid because I'm not. And it's just certain things that you're going to have to accept because if you're not comfortable, like, being upfront about it or just like a little bit open, then you're going to keep secrets. And then your secrets could lead into, like, you know, like you taking the wrong path in a way. Because listen to other people that really don't know what they're talking about, you could really like follow in the wrong footsteps because I did that too. But it's just a lot of things that you really can't prepare for, and it's really just about where life takes you. So for me, like my mom, she's a big support right now. As far as just like me being a Black woman in 2022 in the society that we live in, but my like also my sexuality is just like it adds on top of things that I really have to be mentally prepared for. And I feel like some parents don't really get that because high school and middle school and whatever is definitely a mental game because there are going to be people that's going to try you. And I feel like you just got to learn one day at a time how to really manage all of that stuff without, losing your mind. But that's where parents come in. I feel like they can really, take some of that stress away if they really, are trying to figure their child out while they're young and at that point instead of waiting until it's too late where the child is already too damaged. So, yeah.
I think that was some great pointers. Again, reflecting back on when I was a young person, it is a balance. It's a dance of respecting your parents, listening to their wisdom because they have lived a full life that you have not. So taking the notes from them, taking the wisdom, and then at the same time being able to have that conversation. Because I remember being about maybe a little bit older than where you are right now, where I had to have that conversation with my mom because I had went away to college and I was gone for a year, making my own schedule, doing what I want when I want, and living my life. And then I came home for a summer break, and they like, "Where you going? Where you at? You ain't in the house. Get in the house." And I'm like, "Hold on."
I'm used to this, like
right. I just lived my whole life for a whole year, and now I'm home, and people trying to tell me where to be in curfews and stuff. I'm like, hold on. And I had to have that conversation, not only with my mom, but with Carlisa.
Because it's so hard because they are so used to protecting you and making decisions for you. And there's some comfort in that for them if they're making those decisions for you. So they really have to teach themselves to let go. And they will really convince themselves that you are the same age you've been all your life. Like, no, I grew up. I whole grew up, okay? And yes, I know I said grew up. I know I said what I said. I grew up. So now you don't need to make all my decisions. And I think that establishing that now is really important because I'm here to tell you.
And respectfully, establishing that respectfully because they do have wisdom. That's one thing I never knocked about the relationship with me and my mother. I listened always to what she said. But at a certain point, it's like, okay, you have to take what's given and then evaluate what's for you and what's not for you because everything
and that's what the point I was just about to make. Because if you don't start establishing that now, it becomes even more difficult as you get older. Because I, am just really kind of getting there with my mom with certain things because I'm like a whole 25 years old and married, children. And my mom will still sometimes I'd have to be like, listen, lady, listen, Linda, I'm whole grown. Like, no, not today. So I think that it's important that you're having that conversation now. Like, trust me, at some point you got to really believe in what you did as a parent to know that this person is going to be okay. This human being is going to be
okay. And you also have to give them the steps to trust you. You got to show up in a way that makes them say, okay, I did a good job. I can let go. I can let the rope go a little bit.
I want to get back to Miss Journey over here because and before we wrap up our hour, and then I want to hear from Miss Tate, although she stole the whole show last show, right? I want to get a couple things from her because she wanted to be back here today. But for Miss Journey, I know you were mentioning that you really want to be able to talk to your mom about certain things, but you just feel like you can't. How much more impactful would it be to be able to talk to her about that stuff because she is a woman, right? And you're going into womanhood. How much more would it mean to you to be able to talk to her about some of those things that you can't talk to your dad about?
I feel like it'd be like it would bring our relationship closer. Like it just be like real good for like our relationship. And plus like I'm getting older, so it's like certain things I can go to my dad about, or like certain things I won't feel comfortable doing that because how she move and how she act. So it's like if we like be able to like have a conversation and sit down and talk about like the things that I always want to talk to her about, I feel like our relationship would be much better, and I feel like how she want us to be and how I want us to be, because she feel like I'm more closer with my dad. So it's like with that, like I feel like she gets upset about that sometimes because she's like, you don't come talk to me about stuff, but your dad able to tell me that you like this and that. So it's like I feel like if we get that, like me and her will be like where I'll be able to like talk to her about certain things, and like we just like be like at peace with each other and be able to talk to each other. I feel like it would be good for our relationship to be better because I am a teenager, going to be 16, so it's good for me to have a good relationship with my mom.
Yeah,
Can I cut in real quick?
Go ahead now.
If there's like one thing that you want to say to her, because she gotta listen now, right?
Right.
You can't say nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? She can't
Hold on.
rebuttal.
You straight got you got reinforcements on this
Right.
call.
You know what I'm
This
saying?
ain't coming on this call start no mess.
So like she can't rebuttal right now. She literally can't say nothing. Okay.
Talk to her.
Like, what is something that you really want her to know or that she can shift so that you guys can have that type of open relationship that you want?
Um, I don't know. Like it's a lot, but I feel like one of the main things is like like I like two different type of genders. Like I like boys and I like girls. Like that's what my mom about.
Well, thank you for sharing that here.
Absolutely.
Because
For sure.
that is a lot to be able to share. And I'm glad you felt comfortable to say that. Can you talk about how not being able to be honest with her just makes it just so much harder for you to deal with? Because the whole point is that teens are going through a lot. And they going through so much and they are trying to navigate all of those emotions. Tell her why you need her in this moment while you're navigating that.
Cause I feel like needing her, like I can go talk to my dad about it because like he was understanding about it. Like I told him, like my mom thought she was just my friend, but like me and her was dating, we was together. But so I feel like if she would have knew that, like I feel like I don't really know, but like I feel like telling her like I like girls and boys, like I feel like that would bring like a good thing with us because it's kind of hard to like just to say that and for her to know that like she wasn't the first parent that I told. Like I told my dad and then I told my auntie Cookie, so it was like telling them before I told anybody else, and then like my cousins or friends knew. So it's like she didn't know that about me, and like she just thought like, oh, the girl was my friend. Her was actually like in a relationship. So like I feel like telling her like I'm just not focused on one thing because she think I'm just boy crazy, and like I'm not like girl. So it's like letting her know that I feel like that would be like a good thing for me, so she could like get off. Oh, you this and that, like these boys and all this stuff. Like I also like girls, so yeah.
So what
Thank
I
you
heard,
so much for sharing.
yeah.
Thank you
you
so
so
much.
much.
Thank you
And
so
what
much.
I heard you say in that is that, which is really important, and I don't want to skip over that, is that there were a lot of assumptions that she was making and assuming that you're not focused or you're not doing certain things because all you're thinking about is this, this, and this. And how that was hurtful too, because it's like, no, if I'm not focused on this, it maybe not have nothing to do with dating anybody at all. Maybe I'm just, going through something completely unrelated. Did I get that right, Journey?
Yes.
And she
Can
gonna
I
hear you now. And
can I
maybe
ask?
this can be a door.
You
You
want to
definitely
say
can add
that to that,
something.
Janaya?
Yeah, because like, well, it's really a question for her. Is that okay?
Yeah, it sure is.
Okay. So, like, are you new to like this? Like, is this something that you like, or is this something that you just, do you feel comfortable with yourself making like liking both genders?
Um, I feel like girls, but I was just like, oh, know, like it's
Mhm.
not okay to do that. So I just, and then this school year, it showed me like, oh, I could like girls, and I did it, and I started talking to like my first girl, and then I started hanging out with more girls that was like gay or whatever. So it just have to be afraid to like girls or to date girls. So I dated my first girl, and I liked it, and it was just that, and then I still like boys because I dated the boys in school, yeah, and like it's like I just like both. It's like I'm understanding and still trying like to make sure it's like what I want to do, but for the most part, like yeah, yeah, I do like date both genders.
That's fine. Because coming from somebody that's like that as well, because I just like girls. Like, I feel comfortable with myself saying it. Like, I could say it down the street, I could say it in the hallway. It don't matter, you know. But at a point in my life, I feel like I wasn't as comfortable, not because of like what people would think, but mostly because of my parents, you know. And I felt like at a certain point before me and my mom had that conversation, it was just like a closed door because it was so much stuff I wanted to tell her, but I couldn't because I didn't feel comfortable enough telling her that. But then I feel like once we had that conversation and like she made it a little bit more open to me, then I was, just easily getting into it. So I definitely understand where she's coming from, and I feel like a lot of kids in, this generation really don't feel comfortable because just of like the stereotypic people about, gay or bi people or just people in the community in general. Like, it's really hard because, not everybody's gonna accept you for you. But I feel like if you just have that strong mentality, you know what you like, you know who you are, nobody can really break down your walls. You know, that's my advice because I definitely dealt with that in my years between middle school to high school, trying to just figure out who I am as an individual and what I like and what I don't like. And then once I found that, it was a lot smoother as far as the process of, me, dating girls and liking whatever I like. So just keep your head strong. That's all I'm saying.
And thank you also for sharing.
Yes.
Yeah, welcome.
I love that we're in a safe space. And the thing is when you are comfortable with you, the world can say whatever and you'll still be okay with it. And
Mhm.
it's okay to love who you love, whoever that is. Whoever that is, as long as your love isn't hurting
And,
anybody,
and
love
here's
who
the
you
thing:
love.
you don't owe nobody no explanation
That too.
for that love. I think sometimes people have this entitlement to understand because it's not what they like, and you don't owe anybody an explanation. You don't owe anybody a change, and you are who you are. And I think so many, and I would love to have a show and have both of you come back where we are just predominantly focusing on how this is a generational curse in itself. Is that we don't allow our black children the space to be who they are because it may not fit into what you believe in, or we're a people that's very religious at times, so we're quick to shame our youth, and all in doing that, what we're doing is building this bigger gap between us and them, because love is love.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that we are all who we are. We're born that way. And I hate that we are telling our youth, or we're telling folks that they need to be shamed of who they are because we don't agree. Oh, well, you don't agree. I'm with you on that, Janiyah. Say it down the street, say it off a building, say it on a bridge,
Put it on a
say
billboard.
put
And I
it on
think
the
that's the thing
billboard.
too. You have to be comfortable and get to a place, and it's a hard journey. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, oh, I'm comfortable. Like, it's a process to get to that point. But your life is yours, and no one else on this planet, parents, cousins, best friends, uncles, sisters, spouses, it can't nobody live this life for you. And the best thing you can do is live it authentically, live it out loud for whatever it is. Because at the end of the day, what they say, you come in here alone, you leave out of here alone. Leave on E. Live your life full.
That's it. You wanted to say something, Noriah?
Yeah, I wanted to add on to you guys um, talking about people being shamed about being LGBTQ. Something that I said to myself earlier that I think will actually look pretty good on a shirt is life doesn't have a gender, so stop trying to set one.
It doesn't. And it's your life. It's your life. That's
Like,
something
nobody can live through you.
nobody can. Thank you. That was exactly what I was going to say. Look, we're connected. Just in my brain.
Wear that t-shirt I did one more time. I bet not see nobody with that on no shirt. Listen.
Look, it's what's said here. It's almost copyright now.
Right. Listen.
And it's super important. And I know that you all, especially you, Journey, are trying to navigate a lot with your mom. But I'm gonna tell you this, and this is not me making excuses for your mom, but your mom loves you. She loves you. And as a mom, when you love your cub, you want to safeguard your cub, and you want to be there for your cub. You have to give her the opportunity to show up for you too. So she needs to be there to show up for you, but you need to give her the opportunity to show up for you. I think Janiyah brought that point up when saying that sometimes you just got to tell them to sit down and listen. Give her that opportunity, because it's even worse for her if she's trying to pull out the opportunity and you kind of like, no, you can't have it. And she like, give it to me. I want to know. And then you doing a tug of war with that. And it's taken away from the real issue at hand, is that you want her to support you. And I wholeheartedly believe from the time that I have spent with your mom that she wants to be there for you too. So you have to give her the opportunity to show up for you like that, and give grace, because it's gonna take her a bit to, show up the way that you need to, because we still learning even as parents. Just because we adults, we know a whole lot, but I ain't the authority on everything. And so we're learning too, and we're learning as we go, because a lot of us, we had certain examples of parenting, but we know enough to know that we don't want to exactly do it like that, but we don't always know how we want to do it either. So we're trying to figure it out too. And she's learning with you. So you have to, try and be patient with her, but give her the opportunity to show up for you. I wholeheartedly think that she wants to. I think she's going to watch this and she's going to reflect on it. And I can hear the pain in your voice. I can hear the sincerity of wanting her to be there for you in your voice. But you got to give her that space to show up.
And a lot of the times, darn near all the time, but a lot of the times, we love people, but we don't know how they want to be loved. A lot of the times we love people in the way we think they should be loved, how we seen love, through our own lens of trauma. But in communication, we have to show and tell and teach people how to love us. They don't automatically know. We don't. I'm including me in it too. We don't automatically know how to love other people, because everybody's love language and experiences and what they want is different. And so she loves differently, but she loves you wholeheartedly. But you have to teach her how to love you the way that you want to be loved. And it's her job to listen. And it's her job to shift and give you the love in the way that you want to receive it. And vice versa. And vice versa. Because it's the same way the other way around too. So we both have to a lot of times move the hurt and move the trauma that can happen in parent relationships over time, because we said it earlier, stuff get to festering, and then you be harboring feelings from 10 years ago because daddy said this or mama said that, or and then they doing the same thing because that one time they snuck out or whatever the situation may be. The harboring happens on both sides, but at a certain point none of that matters anymore. And it's, I want a relationship with my mother, or I want a relationship with my father, or I want a relationship with my child. And we got to move all the past trauma, all the hurt and everything else away and say, nope, I'm starting fresh today. And that's where, like Naya said, it's to sit down. We need to talk. And a lot of times, youth, I'm going to let you know, any youth that may watch this, and I told this to one of my youth yesterday, it's a hard job and you may not want it, but we realizing it in our generation, Sante 25, we are going to have to help heal our parents.
I'm 25 plus 14.
Plus 14. We are going to have to help heal our parents, because the eras and the things that they lived through, they may not have gotten the tools or the time to know what we're learning or get the tools and techniques that we're learning. So,
or to unlearn the things that they've learned. That's the biggest part. They've learned a lot of different things. Yeah, the generation that I'm in, with my 25 plus 14 years, is that we're kind of like in between some of our parents that refuse to kind of, let go certain stuff, and who grew up in very strict morals and values. And we kind of looked at that, was like, yeah, that ain't really for me. So we started to kind of break away from that. And we're trying to do differently with the next generation. Y'all are the generation that's going to really set us on the path to being where we want to be at. So even though we don't always see it, some of those curses have been broken and they're continuously being broken. And y'all coming on here today talking about it is gonna break some curses. So I know we at our hour mark. I want to get last comments before we go. All right, did you have anything you want to say? I know last week you was like, or last episode you was on it, but we're not ignoring you for this episode. We just had new perspectives. So is there anything or any closing thoughts you have, and then we gonna move around? So what do you have?
I think it's that once you become a teenager, I think especially because you're in your teens, people put a lot of expectation on you, especially with, the choices that you make, especially now that I'm 15 and I'm going to become 16 this year. I'm afraid to make a lot of mistakes because I'm getting older, and I'm worried that people are going to think that you're doing it at such a big age, which, excuse you, first of all, just because I turned 16 does not mean I'm not a teen. And just because I am growing up doesn't mean that I'm not going to make mistakes, and I'm not going to make mistakes, and that I'm perfect. Nobody's perfect. Mm-hmm. And if somebody makes a mistake, as long as they learn from it, you don't have the right to make them feel bad because they made that mistake. And what if they chose to do something and they're not hurting anybody? If somebody's doing something that they like and they're not hurting each other or themselves or other people, leave them alone. And if you don't like what they're doing, leave them alone. You don't have to over-exaggerate on what they're doing. You don't have to over-exaggerate on why you don't like it, and don't make other people hate it. If you don't like what they're doing, leave them alone. You don't get to demonize or demoralize that person because you don't like what they're doing, or you don't see them as a good person in your eyes. Unless what they're doing is actually borderline crossing a huge line that hurts other people or themselves, then you can give them criticism and step in. But there's also a line with the kind of criticism you can give. And I really hate it that when I go on the internet, I see people do this to a multitude of people. And it goes far as to practically everything you do in your life, every choice you make, especially as a teenager, is dictated somehow by different people. And I really hate that because, as I said before, you can't live through people. And as a teenager, like in your teenage years, I think it is probably the most like the years in your life when you are having the hardest time trying to figure out who you are, and nobody wants you, or nobody wants somebody else to like dictate who you can be. Because last time I checked, it's not your life. You're not seeing a clone. I'm not a clone of you. I'm not your clone. So why are you trying to turn me into one? You can't tell me what to do if it means that you're going to dictate how I live my life, what I do with my body, what I do with what makes me interested in certain things. You can't tell me what to do in that sense. We lost someone.
I think we lost Natalie, but she should pop back on here. And I think that's a really good point, baby. And thank you for expressing that. Do you ladies feel the same way? I think y'all feel the same way. Journey, how are you feeling?
Yes, I do feel the same way. Like I feel like people like not even just our parents. I feel like just a lot of people in general try to control how we move, how we act. Like that at your age, you're not supposed to be just like that at your age. It's like that's how I express myself. Like the way I dress, that's how I express myself. I'm comfortable with my body, how my body is. Like I'm going to express myself like that. But some people just don't like that. Like they won't choose to be the way that they want to be, and it's just like hard just to that you want to be and not act how other people want you to be or fit into a picture of this person wants you to be or how your parents. I didn't want to have like, but everybody's not going to have a perfect time. Everybody's not perfect.
Nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. Thank you for sharing all of that. Sanaya, what are your closing thoughts?
Can you repeat the question?
What are your closing thoughts about everything we talked about here today and what all the things that teenagers are going through and how adults can be a better support?
Really, I feel like the main focus is just, you know, finding yourself and first, most importantly, just being comfortable with yourself and just, not being afraid to use your voice when it comes to speaking with your parents because, you know, the older you get, the more, things you want to say to your parents, but you feel like you can't. So once you create that space, I feel like again it's just gonna come naturally, and you gonna want to tell your parents, be like, "Oh, mom, guess what?" Because I know I be telling my mama all my tea. I don't care. She get it all, but yeah, I just feel like just being comfortable enough to just having certain conversations with your parents, and not being afraid of what they gonna say. Because if you get off your chest, it's like okay, it's done. The most you can say is whatever. It's not like I didn't express to you how I felt or how I'm feeling in a moment. I did, and whatever like they do with that information is on them. But at least you can say you tried. So that's my thoughts and my opinion on that.
Well said by both of y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. Devontae, I'm sorry we lost you if you're still watching. Thank you for joining us today also and sharing your thoughts and not sharing your thoughts. I respect the fifth, to plead the fifth too. I get it. I done had to plead the fifth a time or two, so I understand. And Journey, I want to uplift you. I want you to know that you are seen. I want you to know that we hear you. I'm sure your mom hears you. She just had a whole bunch of hearts going up the screen a few minutes ago on the stream. And I want you to know that no matter what your choices are, love yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
Continue to work on that. You're going to get to the place where a lot of us are getting to where we're like, I love me even if you don't. And feel comfortable living out loud with who you are. It's the most freeing thing, and you deserve that joy. But thank you for being open. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for being transparent, because that's a really, really, really hard thing to be transparent about, especially publicly. Like, to be transparent about that. So I
It's
am,
that part for me.
I mean, publicly, she's like,
I'm
hey,
really proud. Like, I'm
yeah,
so
me.
bad, but I am so proud of all of you, honestly, for having the audacity, the wherewithal to say exactly what you need to say. I am so proud. I am so proud.
Yeah.
And I have no doubt that each of you are going to live out loud and just take this world by storm and be amazing, because it starts with speaking your piece. It starts with having these type of conversations and thoughts. And I ain't got no worries about none of y'all.
I ain't got no worries about Janiyah, especially because I'm finna be all up in New Orleans. We went to New Orleans this week.
She ain't got no worries because she's finna be in there. She's gonna be telling you to scoot over in your dorm room, sis.
She might see me at a party like, is that my other mommy?
No. No.
On my tablet.
No.
I hear my buddy in the background. Thank y'all for joining us. We gonna hop off. Oh wait, Nat, what's your
What's
closing
that?
thoughts?
Oh, my closing thoughts.
Sorry.
Stop. My closing thoughts are, pardon the 4-year-old in the back, is that the most important thing to do is be okay with not being okay. Know that, especially in this time in your life, but for your whole life, you are going to make mistakes. You are going to fall short. You do not have to live up to anyone's expectations but your own. And know that even your own expectations, sometimes you may fall short. But one of the things that I say is that you never lose. When people say you got to take your L's, you absolutely have to take your L's, but they're not losses, they're lessons. Every mistake you make is going to teach you something. And the purpose is to teach you something so that you don't make the mistake again. Problems are not a bad thing. They're meant to be solved. Okay. So love yourself, mistakes and all. This is the time for you to figure out who you are. As long as you're making them safely, as long as you're thinking things through enough, as much as you can, because sometimes, we ain't thinking all the way through. I'm be honest. But as much as you can, and remembering, even though a lot of times we don't try to hear our parents, they've already set the foundation. And not even our parents, our loved ones, our aunts and uncles and siblings, they've set the foundation of great people, because you're here and I'm listening to you. You're all great human beings. So I know that the mistakes you're going to make, you're going to learn from, and you're going to laugh at later on, even if you ain't laughing in that moment.
I'm here to tell you, I done made a ton of mistakes, okay? A ton of them. And these ain't far removed mistakes. And I'm not going to stop. Mistakes are bound to happen. Yes, Jaleel is our fourth co-host in the background. He's mad about something. But mistakes are definitely going to happen. And you have to give yourself the permission to make those mistakes. It doesn't make you less than because you did, and you can recover for them. They are not like your forever. But we gonna hop off here because Jaleel, like, lady, if you don't get off this camera and pay attention to me, it's about to be issues. Thank you all for watching us tonight. Thank you to our amazing, articulate, and just simply magnificent guests that were on here today. We are still learning too from y'all.
Y'all so dope.
We love y'all.
I always call TT Net.
I know, girl. Now we got